Well justified, I would say. Category 5 conditions possible for the northern island of Vanuatu, and that's Marcel laughing in the background.
What was that?
Oh, it was another zinc.
Yes.
Another zinc.
And on the southern island, the most populous, Viti Levu, there could be hurricane conditions there, even in the capital Suva and in Nadi. So certainly the whole country at some sort of risk as we go throughout the day today, and that will continue for the next 6 to 12 hours at least, depending where you are, could be longer than that. Of course, the storm's track is somewhat uncertain as well. We don't know exactly where it's going to go. It could, let's hope not, but it could hug the coast of Viti Levu on the left-hand side, almost like Evan did, for all we know. We don't know just exactly what it's going to do yet. David, any look over there with the screen share?
Not yet.
Alright,
Apology, just having a slight issue finding. I've had to go back into the history. I want the radar link for Fiji.
Polar Fiji is called.
It's here somewhere. I think so.
Somewhere. Lee, do you think it will get to 185 as has been forecasted by JTWC?
I do agree with them, yes, I think it will. I do. I
Crikey.
think it'll go up another 20 mile an hour, yes.
It is quite a
But
statement
I
if
have
it
to
does.
say, it's quite a small storm as well. I thought a few
Well,
minutes ago.
we've always compared it to Andrew.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Nathan. It looks like that.
I'm not really
Quite
sure.
quite a big eye too.
Well, it does now, yes. It's certainly got larger.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think there's a new frame that's just come out on the animation as well. So I'm going to show you that just now. So you'll get to see the latest image of the storm. If you've been following this for a while, you'll see what it's been looking like.
To follow it, but
And the
I have
latest
tried.
frame shows the island of Tavayuni just on the edge, the very edge of the eye, which I believe looks better than ever and is certainly, I would say, a Category 5 eye. Had a few doubts an hour or two ago whether it
Yeah.
still had Category 5 intensity. It looked a bit weak, but it has come back very strong, and the
Look
cloud
at
tops
that.
agree, and we seem to have a Cat 5 on the cards again.
It looks like it's hitting a wee bit of an island there.
Yeah, that's Tavayuni.
Is
So, looking at the ADT, obviously that's been saying a lot of things recently.
God,
It was
it's
saying silly things like 8 something. In fact, I think they've all been revised because I don't see any of those values anymore. So I don't know what happened there. Right now it's saying 917.9. I'm not really sure what to
that
make of
pressure
that.
was.
Yes.
That pressure was.
Yes, I'm not
I
really
don't
sure.
think the
what to
pressure's
make of it.
risen, has it?
Well, they say 914. That's just a general estimate for its wind speed, 165. They'll do that for every single storm that reaches 165. But the ADT, getting all technical now here, says that it was no lower than 917. I think it must have been changed because previously we were talking about 880, 879, whatever the hell it was. But now doesn't say that. We'll expect an update, a proper update from the storm
It must be
within
due shortly.
within the next hour, hopefully
Stop blocking.
within the next half hour. Marcel,
What?
I
you're
said it
live
was.
on air. What's going on?
I was playing I'm playing a game.
You like to play lots of games. Apparently, reports of houses damaged on Vanuatu Balavu. That was the first place that Winston made landfall on. The island that I liked to compare a little bit to a boomerang, sort of. and that was the first island that the storm properly
You can
hit,
see
and
that
it's
big-
very
big
little
island,
surprise.
is that Fiji there?
Sorry?
See that big island? Is that Fiji
Yes,
right
yes,
there?
it is. Yeah,
That's not.
all of it is
Jesus
Fiji.
Christ! Look at that.
It is quite spectacular at the moment. Yes.
That is.
I'm back now, by the way.
That's it.
Right.
And what do you think of the latest image of the storm, which has come out now?
Oh, right now, let's see.
And you said it crossed the Dateline, has it?
Yes.
But yeah, just to repeat that there, Jasper, reports of houses damaged on Vanuatu, which is the first place that the storm made an apparent landfall on. So, unfortunately, not too much of a surprise.
Definitely not. I've also noticed they rotate the other way. Southern hemisphere.
Yes, of course.
Of course, they do.
They rotate the other way.
Yeah, the low pressures in the northern hemisphere spins counterclockwise, while high pressures spins clockwise, and the other way around in the southern hemisphere.
Marcel,
What?
what would you like to say right now?
About Winston.
If you want, that's what we're doing the whole show about. You sound like you're a bit busy.
Does
A
it?
bit busy.
Yes. You sure you should be here? We're still waiting on the screen share, by the way. Not having much luck.
Yeah,
It
but
seems.
Haven't you got it?
Not yet, no.
It's not come
Oh.
up yet. Not yet,
Skype apologises, David. Oh,
I think everyone is doing a live event using Skype now on Winston as well, so the strain on the servers is a lot.
Wow.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Not me neither.
Anyhow.
You got anything?
Not yet.
I stopped now.
Sometimes a wait
now.
is required. Just leave it for a few more seconds.
So it's not just Craig having bad luck.
It is bad luck. It's sort of like hit and miss, isn't it?
Okay. We have flights have been suspended from New Zealand to Fiji. That started yesterday afternoon. Weather bulletin for Fiji's Met Office: heavy rain, extremely strong winds, strong swells, low-lying coastal areas.
Yeah, I think the screen share doesn't want to work tonight.
No, it doesn't, David.
I think it's enough.
A bit of a hiccup. Good.
Friday blues.
Good evening to Max.
Hello.
Hello. Have you been tracking Winston? We know all about it. So had a good
I
time.
saw, but no.
Have you seen the latest satellite imagery that we've been streaming?
On YouTube, that.
Yeah, I have.
By the way,
I
sorry, Andrew Paris says all air travel and boat travel cancelled as of 1:30 p.m. Fiji time. So, are they telling us that air travel and boat travel is still operating for another hour?
Yeah.
That's not.
I
right.
wouldn't be surprised. I would
That's
not
not
be
right.
surprised.
That's not right.
Quite
You should
something.
stop it now.
Well, if you... Oh, David, we lost David for a moment. We take a look at the satellite imagery. I mean,
Shouldn't
there's
have it.
hardly anywhere in Fiji that is not experiencing significant conditions now, apart from probably where that webcam was located that we were showing in the last hour. It's probably one of the very few places that I don't know exactly where that one was, but I assume I think it was near the west coast, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, Nathan. Yes.
So that's one of the very few places that isn't experiencing anything significant yet. David?
I guess
I'm just on. Sorry, I'm just on the standby. I'm just going to reboot Skype.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, I'm just seeing again now people walking around the
Are
shoreline. Yeah,
Again.
again, and they're walking casually like nothing's
It's quite
happening.
revealing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
As to what the attitude is there at the moment. We've had locals, I assume locals, tell us about what the feeling is there, and it's very much an on the beach feel, I suppose.
Yeah.
But trouble is certainly brewing, and is already struck for some places in Fiji, and hopefully people will get the message before it is too late.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Max, how's the weather in Florida this evening?
It's pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah.
There's word of tornadoes near your place not so long ago.
Oh yeah, there was. I actually stayed up. Like I woke up at 1:30 a.m. and then went to sleep at 3.
Because you were tracking them. Is that when they happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Andrew Paris says all agencies now updating how they are preparing themselves for TC Winston. I'd be interested to know in what regard. David, your screen share is working. We can see the radar.
Okay.
And try and get the latest frame there. We only saw a quick glimpse just then of how the storm's been progressing. It's not a good situation, and it is continuing during the afternoon hours, and it will probably reach its worst point, we expect, around 6 hours from now. Andrew also says, this is someone who is on the ground in Fiji, I believe, so thanks for joining us. Disaster officials and the stakeholders meeting or have just met to outline their response activities as well.
Here at Force 13, we appreciate the information being provided to us, and keep it coming in because we've got several more hours yet.
Indeed. So if we have any update on Winston's intensity, we are expecting it within the next hour, hopefully half an hour. We will let you know. In the meantime, we just wait and see what happens tracking the radar. There it is, you can see it properly now, how it has grazed the southern part of the island of Tavayuni, and will then move on not only to Ranalevu, but if it decides to jog south just a little bit, it will also be very close to Coro Island. You mentioned that one, didn't you, David?
Yes, I did.
So that was relevant news. Coro Island is that one that's sort of in between the two big ones there. The one that's just about to enter that yellow zone in those latest images.
And
There it is, you found it. So that could, if the storm does decide to jog south a little bit, Coro Island is also in deep trouble, if it isn't already. So that's where we are right now.
Nathan, is it going to track right over Suva?
No.
Or is it...
I would hope not. It would be a disaster, certainly.
I thought, is it Nandi in its path? If it's on that west-northwest track.
Those are both the main cities in Fiji. Well, they will probably... The storm will pass to the north of that. Is that you, Max? And please mute yourself. And could possibly experience hurricane conditions. If the storm remains further north, I don't think it will be too bad. I hesitate to say, though I would prepare certainly for gale force conditions, storm conditions, in both those cities. If the storm does decide to jog south, you'll be the first to know about it here, because if we see a tiny jog towards the south, our ears will prick up and we'll say, watch out. At the moment, it looks like it will pass just north of there, but certainly better to be safe than sorry for the whole of the Fijian Islands. What are we looking at now?
Fiji, special advisory.
Yeah, it was. They might have issued another advisory by now.
Yeah, just checking it. Fiji can be very, very slow.
Yes,
but it's probably
at the best of times. There's Max showing us something or other. Anyway, we'll go back to the latest infrared imagery of...
Craig says the hazard updated.
And yeah, not much else to show at this point. But you can send in your comments, very much appreciated. We try to provide our best service. And we will be rolling through as the hours go by. And oh yes, let's take a look back at that webcam there, David.
I'm just trying to find new links.
Yeah, Molly says in Suva people are expecting the storm to hit later tonight. So they're out shopping for supplies right now. That is concerning because Suva right now is very close to the black zones. If you look at the infrared imagery here, Suva is just on the almost the southeastern tip of the rounded island there. Not far from the black zone on the infrared imagery. On David's radar, not terribly far away from significant rainfall amounts either. I expect that the conditions will really start to deteriorate there in an hour or less. Marcel, what's going on?
I'm playing that game. Oh my god!
Well,
Mute your microphone then, because it's...
Patient.
I think you should let it.
Marcel, you are live, you know that?
Yes.
Yes.
And we're
Perhaps
hearing
now
a bit
is-
of background sound.
Perhaps now is not the best time to be live.
Yeah, I think you should mute yourself when you play that game.
In any case, David's scrolling through his mastermind of all sorts of stuff there. I'm just coming back to the stream here. So there is a storm, cyclone warnings. I guess all I can really do at this point is relay the information we already know. There's some reports of buildings or houses being damaged on some of the islands, particularly the one that the storm hit first. Name escapes me now, I forget. But particularly we're looking at the island of Tavanui, which the storm has most recently passed the edge of the eye. And you look at the conditions in Ranalevu right now, and they're really poor there too. David, there is a video.
So, yeah, this is from I'll just quickly go back through it.
Yeah, a short video of conditions in Taveuni, which is the one I was just alluding to, showing significant hurricane conditions. I'd say, judging by that, from what little I know about experiencing hurricanes, there's probably Cat 3 conditions, 115 miles per hour or higher. I expect
Yeah, it's like
that
really
Cat
violent.
5 conditions for parts of that island, certainly in the south, not good at all.
It's quite violent.
Certainly was. Thanks for showing that. And I was just going to go on to Vanalevu, which could also experience really significant conditions, and if not the strong winds, it will be exceedingly high amounts of rainfall you'd expect also for that island, and there could be some flooding issues there. That's certainly what the Fijian weather services were talking about, as far as I know. Onto the radar again then, I guess, so you can see how the rain has affected Taveuni recently, and then onto Koro Island, and also the bigger island of Vanalevu. 413 live, 23 minutes past 12 AM here in the UK, PM in Fiji. And David.
10:23 AM Eastern Standard Time on the east coast of Australia.
You're still worried about Winston hitting Australia?
No chance.
No.
Lee says no
As
chance.
No chance.
As a rain depression.
A very
yes.
outside chance.
It's very unlikely.
Very outside chance. Maybe 1% probability.
Aye, that's you can call it that.
And 5% for Vanuatu.
And Jasper, what percentage would you give I should say to the viewers,
I'll say 5%.
we've got 29 days this month because we're in a leap year.
Yeah, it's
I'm
yeah.
waiting to see what happens in March, because in March, early March, the systems changed direction from west to east and east to west. So if Winston stays around till the 1st of March, it could. I'm just waiting for this east to west motion to kick in, and if he can stay around for another week, well,
I'll be blessed if
because we have seen systems track from east of Vanuatu, or let's say west of Fiji, right across to the Queensland coast.
Yeah, well, I don't think
But
that'll happen
that's-
on this instance.
No. Okay. Right. For the viewers, I'm following hashtag Cyclone Winston. Part of my operation is that any information that I cite automatically goes out via our Twitter feeds, and it automatically shows up on our Force 13 website, bottom right hand corner.
Martinez wants to know how much rainfall the islands are expected to get. Not entirely sure, but the latest forecast has come out from the HWRF, which also predicts rainfall amounts, and it says, I would say, a maximum of around on the mountainous areas of Fiji 24 to 28 inches, and on lower levels, coastal areas, anywhere from around 5 or 6 inches on the south coast of Vitilevu to upwards of 16 inches on the area that the storm is impacting right now.
Well, what I'll do, I'll bring up some other links. And,
But I have to say, the HWRF is predicting now a Category 5 landfall quite clearly.
Finally.
Well, it was sort of before as well. As far as intensity, they're not they're not thinking along the JTWC's lines. However, they do, curiously, initiate their 18 Zulu run at 175 miles an hour, as if to say the storm is already that strong, but that is unconfirmed.
I think this is out of date. They are having trouble.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
that's well,
Ram.
that-
Yes,
That
yes,
is-
that was
That
yesterday.
is way out. Oh,
Yeah, so
alright.
that is as of 21 UTC
That
yesterday.
is really poor.
Sure.
That is really.
It
So
sure
that
is.
is 24 hours ago.
I don't think there are any images there recent. That was quite some time ago as well there, David. There's only
Oh, I
one
thought
image from
go out
today
there.
on RAM as far as I know, and that was the high-res infrared imagery. There's probably a new image out on the infrared imagery that we've been showcasing all evening, I think. Nope,
My
not
Skype
yet.
just crashed.
2 more minutes, I think. And that's the sound of John with more technical difficulties.
I'm back though. My Skype crashed for a
That
little
in
bit. I'm
itself
back.
is a technical difficulty, John.
Yeah. I was just about to get on call and then my Skype just went
Yes.
crashed. I'm back now. I'm out of the shower and I'm currently trying to set up. So I'll be here, but I won't be talking much
I see. Well,
Is this
Thanks
one
for a
any
few
good?
minutes.
David?
Is this one any good?
I'm not sure. I probably not. You want to stick to either Real Earth or the NOAA floaters for the time being, which I think will update in just around 3 minutes or so.
Hello, I'm back.
Yes, Marcel, welcome back.
The Winston is a very serious storm.
Very serious, yes.
Very serious storm.
What else have you noted about it, Marcel? Well, you see the visible imagery there that's slowly processing.
Loading. Yep.
And how the eye has become much more clearer in those last few frames as it's approached those islands. Let's see, significant situation, severe, particularly for the island of Taveuni, which the storm is passing at this present moment, and then on to Levu. I don't know if there's any more information that you've got from Fiji at this point, David. I'm not sure if there will be much more info coming out for
And
Middle Mountain
and
yet.
your Paris
Well,
and your Paris. I apologize.
Yes, good. I will not. I won't apologise for you. Good. Okay, so where's the next image? There isn't a new image yet. We're still waiting on that. So I'm not sure exactly where to go from this point. Just to reiterate, that Winston is a Category 5, 165 miles per hour. Looking out for the update on that to see what intensity it does go to at the midnight update, which we should expect any time within the next. Could be at any time, a minute or two. Could be another half hour. I don't know just yet. Pressure was 914. Fiji is saying 920. Really doesn't make a difference if you're someone on the ground on one of those islands that are being impacted by the centre of the storm right now, because the conditions will be very similar indeed. Cat 4, Cat 5 conditions, which will significantly damage or destroy many of the structures there, I would assume.
Yeah.
Evacuation centres, which no one is apparently using. And people going about their daily business, is what we heard from some people earlier this evening, which was baffling, to say the least.
Alright, and put that
I
in
don't
here.
think if you answered Martinez's question. I think you did, but he asked if there are mountains on Fiji. Won't the storm weaken? Question mark.
Well, that was more directed towards Andrew, but the mountains are, I would say, significant enough to weaken the storm, but not by more than maybe a category, maybe 2 categories.
And I think the eye must pass directly over to have significant weakening.
That is a factor as well, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, the rainbow
Like a
imagery
very
looking
good
very
rainbow
nice.
image,
Oh, trying to get a close up there, David. So, Lee, what was that?
That's a beauty. That's a beautiful picture. That
Yeah.
rainbow.
Yeah, the rainbow. The eye is very large as well.
That is, isn't it?
And I believe a larger eye is
We're probably
a
talking
higher
10
chance
miles
of
wide
not
or
weakening.
something.
Yeah, I had to do my course recommendations for next year,
Yeah,
so
look at that, it's clearing out completely there.
I did that
In the
really
last
quick
frame.
because I didn't do that this week, and it was gonna close tomorrow, so I have to have them in by today. So
And
Just
Andrew Paris says highest peaks in Fiji, 1.2 kilometers, minimal impact on cyclones.
yeah, I know this is a really need to know thing, Craig. I agree with you. In a text.
Jasper,
Yes,
are you suggesting that Winston's eye is expanding?
Yes, I can see that very clearly. And even in the last frame there, the eye is almost completely clear, and you can almost see I reckon you can see the ocean on visible.
I'm curious to what the next one will show.
Yes.
Aye. Certainly take their time, haven't they?
Very soon we'll probably have the MODIS satellite will pass over as well. I think that's still about an hour or 2 away yet, but I'll show it when that happens.
Yeah.
And we are now looking at the water vapour.
Well, it's not a dry eye, like at sunny,
Certainly not.
but it is a very well-defined eye at that.
Jeez.
Start Skype.
It is a powerful storm. It's one
It
of those
is.
that will be very devastating to any areas in the crosshairs of that. Which, to be rather precise about it, is rather much fewer than it would have been if the storm was positioned about 60 miles further south.
Mm.
Yeah. It's still looking quite strong. Did the ATCF come up with a new update on it yet?
Nothing yet.
Nothing from the ATCF. All right.
Oh, by the way, the radar that was broken down is back now. I see that on the frames.
I think we've got a new satellite image frame. Yes, we have. Which I'll be showing on the stream in just a tick. Here it is. The latest image showing not too much different, apart from the storm appears to be more than halfway past Taveuni. The very extreme southern tip of that island will have seen the storm's eye. All points north of that will have seen strong winds and very heavy rain as well. The next island will probably end up being Coro, which is not marked on this map. It's somewhere in between the 2 main islands, and it's quite possible, especially if the storm jogs south, that the edge of the eye could also graze the north coast of Coro Island too, before moving on towards either Vanuatu or through the passage between Vanuatu and Viti Levu. So that's and that would probably mean that the storm would intensify. It's certainly not piling northwest into Vanuatu, which would weaken the storm more. Obviously would cause untold problems on that island, but it would weaken the storm quite. It's, as we said earlier on, two different choices that the storm could make, both of them being very bad.
I don't think
Yeah,
the odds are big
unfortunately,
enough to weaken it.
Lee?
I'm saying I don't think the islands are big enough to even weaken it anyway.
Well,
Unless
if it's
something
so
powerful happens.
strong, it would weaken a little bit.
Not much, so.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you see the amount of storms that move over the Philippines weaken a little bit.
Oh, that's true, isn't it? Fair enough.
Yeah, well, Andrew says he thinks it would weaken to a Cat 4 as it leaves Vidalevu. That was on the forecast. Set to directly impact popular tourist destinations on the islands to the west of Nadi. Is that the little chain of islands, a very almost discrete little chain of islands that just go off the western coast of that area?
Oh, I think Devon has arrived.
Hello,
Yes,
Devon.
yes, I have arrived. I spent
Hello,
probably
Devon.
the last 15-20 minutes running the latest data.
Oh,
I haven't
that's a nice
seen you
image
all
there.
day. Looks like you probably had. Today was probably a hard day for you. It's in college, I
Today
guess.
was an extremely busy day. That's all I'm
Okay.
going to say.
All right. Well, it's good to have you here.
Devon,
And
how are
This
you?
day has been a long day, mainly because of Cyclone Winston.
Yeah. Did you hear about what it is now? It's Category 5.
Category
it's
5, 165 miles per hour, probably to retain that intensity to the 0Z. Maybe be revised down to 155 miles per hour.
Ooh, really?
Regardless, this storm is expected to slow down as it moves either directly over or in between one of the two big islands in Fiji.
Craig says
And
it's. Sorry.
boy, that's just
Oh, breaking news.
It's up now.
Ramb are saying it's 185, Devon.
It's up now. It's
wait,
confirmed.
what?
It's
Ramb
confirmed now.
saying 185.
The midnight
Around
advisory.
185 miles per hour?
Mm.
Yes, it's not a lie. It's up.
As
Is that?
predicted.
Are you sure
As
you're not
predicted.
reading the 12Z when it actually could have been 185?
Nope, that's what it is saying right now.
Well, the Joint Typhoon Warning
Maybe
Centre
it's not
said it's
saying
going to
185.
increase.
Pardon? What was that, Devon?
The Navy doesn't have.
Yeah, well, I thought they were always first, but Ram was first at the 145 as well. And Navy ended up agreeing with it, so in a moment or two it will probably also say the same. And
But then again,
probably
at the-
means something
Wait.
handy.
At the 12 Z advisory, by the way,
I
Devon, it
think
was still a
the
Cat 4.
storm looks very, very similar to the way that it did 12 hours ago, but with warmed cloud tops. So I don't really see why the storm would be upgraded from earlier. But
One thing that I can see in this is that the eye is much warmer than it was.
if they're saying that it's 185 now, then it's probably been 185 for the past 12 hours.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure. I might be inclined to go 175 looking at it, but it is really getting that donut shape right now.
At the 12.
Nathan, it's had the donut shape all day long.
Well, it has, but it's even bigger than it was before.
Not really.
It is. The black
No, I
areas are
agree.
expanding on the
I agree with
Arbito.
David.
The black area wrapped all the way around the eye earlier today, and it's just not there anymore.
Well, it's wrapping
Not what
around.
I'm
Yeah.
seeing.
Have a look at the radar, Devon.
I am unable to see any
You know,
screen shares at the moment. I am sorry.
Fiji radar. And the black is there.
Once
And the eye
185 is
expanding.
still not quite confirmed yet. We're just waiting for the Navy update.
I'm waiting-
Sometimes
I'm waiting
they
for-
do differ. It is rare.
I'm just taking a look at the ADT picture itself, and I'm seeing that the cyclone's position just to the east of the 180-degree meridian, and the second darkest cloud tops completely surround the eye, but the darkest are scattered at best. But that's just the image I see. I don't know if it's extremely outdated. It says 2330Z, so can't be that outdated. Did RAM update their imagery? They
No.
have.
They are not updated for 24 hours now.
So
It's a bit silly.
RAM has decided to
Abandon its imagery.
take a vacation with Himawari 8 imagery.
It's true.
It's not worked for over 24 hours now.
Yes, as of 21 UTC, the 18th.
RAM is broken.
I have to
want to wrap it
definitely
now.
The storm tracking world is
congratulate.
devastated.
Definitely will have to congratulate. I see what's happened here. That as it's moved into this, moved into the Fiji Straits here, that its eye has nearly doubled in size.
It's looking a bit like Hyann almost. In terms of eye
No,
size.
not even close.
Closer, though.
That is not even a close
About
comparison.
12 hours ago on
Yeah.
text, I said not close to
I would-
Hyann, because some people were already comparing it, but it is a bit closer now.
Would you say it's close to Andrew?
I wouldn't. If I have never seen a Southern Hemisphere system like this. Monica was like this, but stronger.
Devon?
It looked a lot like Monica earlier in the day, but now it's like there's a Northern Hemisphere storm to compare to. Maggie kind of looked like this.
Would you say it's like Andrew?
No.
Not anymore.
It had a much smaller eye, thicker CDO.
No, but
Similar
the
to what it
structure.
looked like,
the structure.
Similar to what it looked like morning Eastern Daylight Time. That looked a little bit more like Andrew then, but I also noticed that the ADT revised all of their
Yes.
8.0 figures downward.
I did notice that. I thought that was very interesting.
I do agree with all that. Nothing out of the Navy yet.
And actually, their latest ADT from 00 has gone weakened slightly.
Not weakened, Nathan. It's stayed 6.9 for quite a while now.
Yeah, but it says the pressure's gone up 2 millibars. Not much to read in that, I suppose.
I would support right now an intensity anywhere between 155 and 165 for this system. Kind of reminds me of Isabel back in the Atlantic.
Yeah, you got a point with that one.
But this storm is much smaller than Isabel and has taller cloud tops. So
regardless of what happens, it's a Cat 5.
yeah, regardless of what the wind's intensity is, the bottom line here, very simply, without a shadow of a doubt, is that the winds in this system, whether they're 155, 165, 175, or 185, they're going to be sufficiently strong enough to create total destruction of any weak structure, and even maybe total destruction of any significant structure. Storm surge and choppy seas will be extreme, to say the least. Possibly storm surges up to 6 meters, I believe I saw.
And Navy has confirmed 160 with their procedural pressure of 903.
Oh,
Yeah, 903
that's just not good.
906.
Well, the Navy did say in their
What?
current advisory that it is to become near stationary and then re-intensify further.
Guys, why there's two calls in this moment? I don't understand.
What?
Why there's two calls in this moment?
There isn't. There's not 2 live events either.
No, just Skype playing up again. It
I
just
can see
popped
the
up.
I can see the calls.
But the latest news on Cyclone Winston is apparently stronger. 185 miles an hour and a pressure of 903 estimated only.
Just like to say, regardless of what the wind speed is, hopefully the residents of Fiji heeded the warnings from earlier today, took proper action to prepare for an extremely dangerous Category 5 cyclone barreling through the islands. And this is easily the most intense cyclone that we've seen in the southern hemisphere since Cyclone Monica.
Not Pam.
Not Pam. No, this is better than Pam.
Interesting.
Better.
It was maybe more comparable to Pam a few hours ago, but this is probably better than Pam.
I see. Well, this is Force 13 Live. If you've got any questions for us, send them in and we'll reply. As our rolling coverage continues throughout the afternoon here in Fiji, at least, throughout the early hours of the morning here in the UK. Time zones all over the place for everyone. People joining us from all around the world on the call here. If
I'm
you'd like
very sorry. I'm very sorry. My allergies have been acting up horribly today. Please excuse me if I'm sneezing excessively on the live stream.
That's okay. If you'd like to join us,
Assuming everything else remains the same, let me just run the latest data one more time, and I'm going to imagine it's going to come back not good.
Guys, I can tell you what happened. I was trying to get my other computer on the call, which is on a different operating system.
here we go.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize.
If you would like to join the conversation, send us a message. Add Fool13 FWL13 on Skype to maybe join the call.
So 185 miles an hour and 903 millibars. Although that pressure is estimated based on wind speed. I think.
Certainly is, yes.
Yeah. Well, we'll never know that unless
We'll never know how
unless
strong
Fiji.
this storm is. You're absolutely
Send
right,
planes.
Chester, but we have to go with the satellite estimates here. I'm sorry,
Fiji
Chester, but
decides.
it's the best that we can do.
Yeah, unless Fiji just decides to open one of the airports and send out a plane.
Well,
I think
and
that
Martinez, we sort of answered his question slightly there. Will Winston's pressure drop to below 900? It's up to Fiji to see what they say about it. They were the ones who said that Pam was 896. So
As of right now, only if you're talking about air pressure wise, only 3 cyclones in the southern hemisphere beat it. That I know of, anyways. That would be Pam, Zoe, and Gothula. Well, you also have the 900 millibar Ron and Susan. I guess you gotta count.
Chris Damien
And
also.
Chris Damien.
guys.
Screw my history.
why
I'm
do you
sorry.
always-
I'm not on my game today. But I do know that it's tied with Monica for the strongest 1-minute sustained winds out of any tropical cyclone in the southern hemisphere since the satellite era, at the very least.
yeah,
Guys.
Of course, there's
Why-
the possibility of Cyclone Barry, but we're not going to get into that.
I'm
Why?
having issues.
Oh yeah.
Why only the NOAA has planes too?
I don't know. You might want to send off a sort of message to all the other agencies who haven't provided planes.
Okay.
No, planes are expensive.
Assuming that all the size figures stay the same, which I'm going to say that's a reasonable assumption that all the size figures are going to stay the same from the 18Z advisory from the JTWC. Cyclone Winston, rather early on here, has actually broken stage 10 on the CDPS. 45.8.
That's what Winston is?
Can you contextualize
Yes.
that at all?
45.8, assuming a 10 knot forward speed. Assuming
could you,
a 10 knot forward speed and 160 knot 1 minute sustain winds.
How does that compare, Devon?
What?
How does that compare
How does that compare?
with the storms?
Okay, that's broken.
I don't really want to arise any false fears or anything. I know Hurricane Rita was close to this intensity at peak strength.
Right.
That's the only one that I know off the top of my head.
We'll talk more about that in a few moments. We're going to take a short break now as we approach the next hour of coverage on Force 13 Live. In the meantime, we're going to gather our thoughts and we'll be back with you for another hour of storm tracking with Winston, which is about to make landfall as a very strong storm of 185 miles per hour apparently, and a pressure of 903. Don't go away.
It's already made landfall on at least one island.
Well, it has. Two, I'd say. You're watching Force 13 Live. Hour number 8 of Cyclone Winston, which we're tracking at Force 13 on Force 13 Live, 24-hour streaming. Well, perhaps we're into the 8th of those hours now. We'll be here for as long as Winston is, I suppose. It's a 185 mile per hour Category 5 storm as of midnight UTC with a pressure of 903 millibars. I'm still here. My name's Nathan Foy. Hello, joined by the Skype team as always. There is other people here as well, which I certainly couldn't do without. Hello.
Hello, people.
Oh, look, guys, this is...
And there's straight to the radar imagery there, which David is providing.
People have better prepared for this system.
Devon, we were chatting about this earlier on. People were writing to us saying that they were doing exactly the opposite, pretty much. Evacuation centres had only been opened, oh, it must have been about 4 or 5 hours ago.
That really isn't surprising to hear, actually.
And that people would rather stay at home, and that people in the capital Suva right now, or an hour ago or so, were only just doing their shopping or whatever it was that they were doing, their preparations for the storm, when the storm is virtually upon them.
Yeah, this has been forecasted to come near Fiji for quite a while now. I'm honestly surprised that people haven't prepared for this system. The first time that the system came across or near the Fiji Islands, and now obviously the second time, a storm 4 times as intense as last time. And it's just a very, very dangerous situation. If you're anywhere near the eye wall, anywhere in the direct path of this eye, make sure that you get to... I don't mind people staying
And there are
home.
people there too, yes.
You know, yes. I actually don't mind people staying home. That's probably their best idea. Trying to flee the island chain on boat at the time that this storm was coming would be a terrible idea, as the seas would end up getting them. So I really do enjoy hearing that people stayed at home, but they need to realize they need to be in an interior room, the lowest level of your house that will not be flooded, and make sure that you're covered by some type of heavy furniture, whether if it would be a mattress or a couch or thick blankets or whatever. Just make sure that you're protected from any type of flying debris, including broken windows. Total window failure is very, very likely to occur. Roof failure is very likely to occur. The only thing that you can really do is basically just prepare for this 12-hour-long tornado that's about to come through this island.
And for some
That's
places, it is as well, particularly on the island of Taveuni, which I've been mentioning quite a lot, because only the very edge of the eye reached the very southern tip of that island, so most of the island has been on the eye wall the whole time.
That's just terrible to hear, honestly. Another thing, speaking of the eye, if you witness or hear a very sudden calm in the storm, do not venture outside. Do not try to investigate. This is the eye of the storm that you're in. If you have a sudden clearing, wait at least 30 minutes before you actually go outside and do anything, because if you're in the eye, you're likely only minutes away from getting the other edge of the eye wall, which can be just as strong, if not stronger, than the leading eye wall.
There's a new frame out on the infrared imagery. I'm not sure if that gives us any clues here, Devon. Probably not. I don't know.
Well, I don't know what clues we would need here, Nathan. I think the only clue
I actually think it's become even more rounded at the edges. They're looking even more stronger, I would say.
This system's looked very strong for a very long time.
Yeah.
Just it appears that the Fiji capital of Suva, for right now, it doesn't appear that it's going to take a direct hit from the eye wall unless the storm cuts back to the south right now. So that's good news. Nadi on the backside of the island might face a version of this system.
Storm is moving due west.
Storm is moving due west. That's what I thought.
That's my observation. It looks as though it is.
And we're just staring down here. Probably this is definitely the most. I really don't know what to say about this system other than it's extremely strong. I really don't think that words can describe what's going on here. Just look at the radar yourself. Look at the satellite yourself. Get yourself behind significant cover. Get behind it now if you haven't done so already. And this goes for everybody in the island nation of Fiji. Not just the two big islands, not just the minor outlying islands. Everybody needs to be prepared for any type of strength fluctuation or very quick track change, which is very likely to happen. Either is very likely to happen with a storm as intense as this one.
Yeah.
Something else I want to point out right now, the ADT, you mentioned earlier how SSEC's version had toned it down. The NOAA version is still showing, well, is actually now showing 8.0s for the second time in the raw area, I think it is, yeah. But it's been at 8.0 according to them since 6 PM UTC. That's a 7 hour period that it's been at that.
I personally wouldn't think that this storm is 195 miles per hour. I think that's stretching it a bit.
I think it's almost there. You look at it now.
I can look at it as much as I want to, Nathan. I can't convince myself that it's 195 miles per hour. I couldn't convince myself this morning it was 195. I
didn't think it was anywhere close this morning, but I do think it is much stronger than it was when it was first declared a Cat 5. That's my honest opinion.
I don't know how you reach that conclusion. I think it's maintained its structure. It's been this perfect symmetry for at least the past 6 hours, and it's just like I said, I don't have words to describe systems like this.
Well,
I really don't have words to describe systems like this. I'm just completely in awe, and I'm just speechless at nature's absolute fury about to rain down here on Fiji. This is 195 miles per hour, and it makes direct landfall somewhere in Fiji here in the next 6 hours, then it would obviously be tied with Haiyan for the strongest landfall in terms of 1 minute sustained wind speed worldwide. I personally don't think it's there. I don't think that this storm is, I don't think that this storm has the same IR appearance that Monica did. I don't think this storm has the same visible appearance that Monica did.
Yeah, I'd agree on that one.
So
I don't think it looks as good as Haiyan either, but
exactly. I don't think it's not as good as the greats. Like,
it is getting close, though.
It's not as good as, say, Patricia or Wilma or Haiyan or Monica or Gaffilo or any of those cyclones.
But nonetheless, it's strong.
Now, Winston is very different to Patricia. Patricia had been Hawaii.
And Otacon, here's the thing here. Here's the thing that I'm worried about here with this system, and I'm worried about this worldwide, is that we've had a complete, absolute lull of tropical cyclone activity since mid-September of last year. We've really had, if you want to talk about significant tropical cyclones in the world, since mid-September, we've had Malor, Patricia, and Olaf, and I think that's been it.
Well, that's still quite something.
Yes, it's quite something, but the thing that scares me is that there's been limited, weak tropical cyclone activity, which has just allowed the oceans to just sit in absolute bake. And it ends up producing an enormous amount of fuel for storms like this to happen. And, the limited tropical cyclone activity worldwide has really scared me.
But are you sure about that? Because, the South Pacific in particular can sometimes have really quiet seasons.
Yes, the South Pacific can have real quiet seasons. Take a look at the La Nina year of 1999 and 2000. There's nothing in that year.
No.
Yeah, and La Nina years, absolutely. The South Pacific can have absolutely nothing, but you have to realize is that we're coming off of quite possibly the strongest El Nino ever recorded, and is still going on. +3 is still out there in the East Pacific.
It's still going on, but it is weakening, Devin.
Yeah, it's weakening, but it's still, as you said, it's still warm.
Yes, it's weakening, but it's taking its sweet time.
I don't deny any of that. I'm just saying
but we're talking about right now, in this very moment. I know it will weaken, but right now, as of today, it's still warm.
Martinez begs the question: is it possible for Winston to reach winds of 200 miles an hour? That's the response.
I swear to God.
Well, it's possible, but no.
I cannot say no, but I'm not going to say yes.
Exactly what I was thinking. It's not. It's like not out of the question, but still,
No.
probably not likely. It's not. It could happen, but it's just one of those things that it could happen, but it's not likely to happen. Right, Devin?
And this is just another one of those storms that I think just begs into question. If we're saying that this system here, isn't quite as strong as Cyclone Monica was at peak, and we're assessing this system at 185 miles per hour, and we're saying that Monica was stronger than this, then that begs the question, once again, just how strong Monica really got. But nonetheless, that's really not the situation at hand. That's something we can discuss later. Meanwhile, we have an island nation getting battered with the strongest storm in the southern hemisphere since Cyclone Monica possibly ever recorded.
The strongest storm Fiji's ever had.
The
It looks
strongest
like
storm that
sorry.
Fiji has ever recorded. That's another important thing. The storm has, at least on this image, has just come across 180 degrees. It is back into the Western Hemisphere.
Mm.
Eastern
It is
Hemisphere.
expected to cut back into the Eastern Hemisphere before it dies. So don't worry about that. But
You got your hemispheres mixed up. It's crossing into the Eastern Hemisphere, and it's going to cross back into the Western.
Whatever. John, I am so done right now that I can't even define how done I am today. I shouldn't be on this live stream. I really should not be on this live stream. I should be sleeping. I'm not in a good mental mindset.
Yeah. You're so done it you can stick a fork in you.
You have no idea. The past 2 weeks it just completely broke me down, but it's just completely irrelevant right now. Aside from my horrible broadcasting, whatever, this storm, just please stay safe. Don't ignore your local government agencies. Heed all warnings and evacuation orders. Heed all recommendations. This is a very serious system, and quite possibly the strongest storm that we've ever seen south of the equator.
Mm.
Yeah. Also, David is posting some images in the colony party that
David,
I looked at.
I just want to bring you into this. Any late news from Fiji itself?
Not at this stage, but Devon, I've got to challenge you on Winston. You talk about him, moving to the east? I'm looking at modelling, and I've posted free snapshots to the room, and my eyes are on Winston coming to probably the rest of New Caledonia.
And looks like that Winston might...
And deepening.
The models are rather split at the moment. Some of them take it to New Zealand. Some
Yes, the models are extremely rough. I'm only going off of the Joint Typhoon Warning Center's latest draft and interpolation, which takes the storm back across hemispheres.
It'll be
first.
very, very interesting to see what they put out of their next advisory, which should be within maybe an hour. We hope. Could be a bit
the
more.
JTWC will probably...
2 hours.
Can I speak here?
Mm-hmm.
I think David was looking at. I think I was looking at those model runs. I can interpret that the GFS is stating. I think that Winston might come close to Australia, maybe graze it, but not. But it's
It'll come
really...
down. It'll come down to the south of New Caledonia, and I think one of our, Jasper, you might be able to help me on this one, we might see one of our interesting high pressure systems push it back up into the, between Australia and New Caledonia.
Yeah, the high pressure systems.
It should be it could be a graze on Australia. It could be an Australian graze.
Yeah. We'll see.
But see, the other factor is when we get towards March, the systems will track from east to west, from the Pacific. Now, we've had history shows that systems have tracked and impacted on the Queensland coast.
I think another interesting system here is in 2016, all but 2 systems have become a hurricane, and I believe half of those systems have become major hurricanes. I don't know what the official numbers are on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale, but I'm pretty confident we've had 10 named storms thus far this year, if you count Eula to be a named storm for this year. I'm pretty sure we have 8 hurricanes because Daya and Tatiana both failed at becoming a hurricane. Every other system has hit hurricane strength or greater, including 2 Northern Hemisphere systems in the form of Pali and Alex.
Yep.
I'm really not sure on that. I've not been counting up the numbers, but the Force 13 website says that there have been 14 storms. I don't know if they double count the South Indian Australia. This is Jason's doing. He'll let me know probably if he's around.
Nathan, they might be counting a few tropical lows that developed in Australia, and I don't count them.
It also
remember that one system that was supposed to track out into the Gulf of Carpentaria but never got there? That
Yeah.
might be counted.
Could be. Also say 7 hurricanes and 1 major.
Might not be counting Eula as a hurricane.
Oh, it can be 2 majors now, isn't it? Because wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you had
I don't know if that's up to date, but we'll.
Uriah and Winston both becoming majors. He had Eula becoming major and Victor just missing major.
David.
Tropical cyclone Winston is now impacting on sea conditions here. We've got quite a few beaches that are closed due to the dangerous surf conditions.
Okay. Of course, a very dangerous situation for the whole of Fiji, as we've been saying. Cyclone warnings, of course, in effect for the whole area. However, what we can say, looking at the latest imagery here on your screen right now, is that the southeasternmost islands, a handful of them, 5 or 6, appear to be away from the storm now and should be in the clear. The ones that were initially impacted by the storm, particularly the one that the storm first made landfall on, will be in the clear in around 2 or 3 hours, thankfully, but the damage is probably already done, of course. It is a rather pacey storm, I guess. Devon, how fast is it moving? I think
as of the latest JTWC forecast, moving at 13 knots.
So it is around a fair amount of speed.
Yeah, around the average.
Yeah,
a little bit faster.
It's not stalling, which is
no.
the best news out of all the bad at the moment.
And the last flight has departed Fiji.
Just in time.
So there won't be any more flights.
The eye wall of the storm is getting rather close, as far as I can see on the RGB visible here, that the thick stuff is very much near the main island of Viti Levu. This is Force 13 Live. The current time 1:23 AM UTC. That is 12 hours behind Fiji, which is 20 past 1 in the afternoon. And that is where it is not such a good day in paradise, as many would see it. Where some places may be battered by winds of 185 miles per hour. Particularly, we're concerned about the island of Taveuni right now, which we did see some video not so long ago of what conditions were like there. What appeared to me to be maybe Category 3 hurricane conditions. Don't know where on the island that was, but I would say that near the eye, of course, you would probably have seen Category 5 conditions on that island. Rather sparsely populated, as is Vanuatu Levu. At least in comparison to the main island, Viti Levu, rather sparsely populated, but there are still several thousand people on those islands, several thousand buildings perhaps, and obviously could cause substantial damage. These kinds of storms would probably cause well over 90% total damage to buildings in its most immediate proximity to its potential landfall area. Obviously, we don't want to be all gloom and doom about it, but it is probably the truth. But there we are.
Yeah.
Guys, any latest developments? With the stream there, David, I saw that.
Oh, am I still screen sharing?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I'm just. CNN is reporting Fiji is bracing for a direct hit. 170 mile per hour winds, gusts over 200 miles per hour, according to the Joint Typhoon Warning Centre. But as we approach the next advisory from the Joint Typhoon Warning Centre, it's been a very interesting 15 hours over here on the East Coast. We had one of our another interesting but severe thunderstorms, and I think some of the activity might have gone into the weather book. We had over 135 millimetres of rain in under an hour. One location had 100 millimetres in about 30 minutes. And winds 120 kilometres an hour, wind gusts.
Going back into my extensive Atlantic hurricane landfall history catalog thingy that I made, taking a look at this, Cyclone Winston is currently most comparable to Hurricane Wilma as it made landfall on the Yucatan Peninsula.
Yeah.
At least in total points.
And which one, Wilma's worst landfall, was that the first one or the second one?
First one in Cozumel, 50.3. Its winds were stronger.
Crazy. Do you think this one could still get worse yet, Devon?
It's hard to get worse once you get over 160 miles per hour. Complete destruction, complete structural destruction happens at winds over 160 miles per hour. So, if things do get any worse,
it's like a tornado, really, isn't it?
160 miles per hour is an EF4 tornado. Used to be a low end F3 actually.
Why did they change that, by the way?
Because they figured out that you don't need 318 mile per hour winds to destroy houses.
Yeah.
And it only took them. It only took them about 40 years to figure that out from Fujita. The original Fujita scale wasn't even supposed to be 4 tornadoes. It was supposed to be just a wind scale that connected the Beaufort scale with the Mach scale.
Yeah, that would make sense.
With F0 being, not F0, but F1 being Beaufort Force 12 and F10 being Mach 1.
Well, there we are. There's a little insight that I didn't know.
But now, why they use it for tornadoes then?
It just happened to fit the damage patterns, and then they made the enhanced Fujita scale, which better estimated the damage of houses to a certain category.
All right.
But yeah, taking a look at my Atlantic landfall catalog, other than Wilma, there is absolutely no storm like this. You either have Gilbert, which is head and shoulders above this storm, or everything else that is not?
Got an update.
Go ahead, David.
You want to read it out? You got a screen share?
Oh, you can do it this time, David.
Okay, this is the latest for the Tonga, issued at 1300 hours or 1 p.m. Local time. Severe tropical cyclone Winston, category 5, located near 17.1 south, 179.3 west, or about 430 kilometres west-southwest.
David, you missed out the good part. A gale warning remains in force for Te Leki Tonga and Te Leki Tokelau, and now cancelled for western open waters of Vavau.
Well, I tried a second sentence.
Pardon the pronunciations. Strong warning remains in force for Vavau. Hapai, no idea.
Pronunciation, not our strong suit.
Guys, do you hear the background noise?
Hang on, Marcel.
Nuatu Tapu, Tonga Tapu, and Ua.
A heavy damaging swell warning remains in force for all Tonga waters. Okay. Tropical cyclone Winston, 17.1 south, 179.3 west, or about 430 kilometres west, west-southwest of Niuafo, or 500 kilometres west-northwest NEIAFU at about midday. The cyclone is moving west at 25, note it's gone up, 25 kilometres an hour or 13 knots. Near its centre, cyclone is estimated to have an average wind speed 220 kilometres an hour, 120 knots, and gusts 315 or 170 knots. So that part hasn't really changed. But it looks like it's picked up speed. And going by that radar.
Yeah, it was 25 not long ago. So it must have been before then. But yeah, there's the radar. Is that up to date? Oh,
no,
do you want to reload that page, David? I think that might be slightly out of date. Don't know.
I know.
In the meantime,
if anyone's got any questions for us, by the way, please send us a message on the chat feature on the YouTube page right now. Do pardon any of my mistakes.
And me too.
Yes, and David. Not only in pronunciation. This is the 8th hour of the show, and we will be running for as long as the storm is as it is, a very severe one. At some point I will be going away and leaving everyone else to it, I suppose.
23, 21.
Oh, there we are. That's it on the Dateline. Nearly 2 hours ago. Who's screen sharing this? Is John? Or
What?
I forgot I was muted. Dang it. Yeah, it's right on the Dateline. It's kind of a nice, strange place for it to be. I mean, look at the other fringes of this eye wall here affecting this island here. I keep forgetting the name of that island.
Vanuatu Levu.
That was 0 UTC. Apparently it just doesn't want to load again.
John, where have you gone?
Gone in the basement again.
Oh, what? What now?
Oh,
You did
now you're back.
disappear just then, John. You sounded like you were slowly sinking underwater.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Go ahead.
Yeah, apparently I'm gonna have to stop screen sharing since this is not working. My system load is probably at 100% right now. Let me see. No, actually, that's actually only at my CPU is only at 17%. That's really weird. It should be loading. Let's just call it a day with that because it's broken.
Yes, good idea. Andrew asks, will the southwest quadrant around the eye be getting the worst of it?
Ooh. Okay. Let me look at satellite imagery to determine that one. Ooh.
Okay, so what did he just ask?
Will the
'Cause-
southwest quadrant around the eye be getting the worst of it?
Southwest quadrant of the eye, and the direction of
The
this
eye wall.
storm's movement is due west.
Mm.
Correct.
Yeah.
West?
Moving west, yeah.
Yes, it's west.
The strongest portion of the storm would end up being the right front quadrant with respect to the movement of the system.
Northwest.
Therefore, the northwest quadrant. There you go. Northwest quadrant would be
And that's
the
the
most.
side that the most land is on there. Not good.
Wow, the cloud top to the north, slightly north west of the storm is cooling. So I'm seeing white now on rainbow imagery.
Oh. So we're getting up into the 90s in places.
What's that?
We're getting up into negative 90 Celsius in places.
No. I can definitely confirm
What's the
that
white?
that's not.
I don't know what way it is, but it's over 80. I don't know, I think it's 85 or something. Minus 85.
Yeah, one or two new frames again on the satellites, the floaters.
The eyes become way more defined now.
Yeah. In fact, it's all the minus 80 wrapping around the storm once again, as it did before, like Devin said.
Yeah. All gray is trying to wrap around the storm's eye again, and it's almost done it. And that is usually a huge spike in the satellite intensity estimates. So we'll have to see what this storm does. Whatever it does, I guarantee you it's going to be destructive. And it's going to, very unfortunately, be a deadly system. Somewhere, at least. It does appear that the eye did pass, although not the direct center of the storm, the eye did pass over one of the islands there in Fiji.
Well, at least two.
I'm totally having problems with your mic.
Looks like
just the island just to the south and east of the smaller of the two large islands. Shows you how well the names of islands in Fiji.
Yeah, you mean the third largest island?
Yes, the third largest island, just to the south and east there. It looks like the eye, not the direct center, but the eye did scrape the southward part of the island.
Yeah. And I think the very, very southern tip of that island got the edge of the central eye.
Jamie would like to know any idea what 185 miles per hour is in kilometers per hour. At the moment,
a lot.
I can't figure it out. But it is going to be in the high 200s, I would say. Nearly 300, if not over 300.
Yeah, 300. 300 kilometers per hour.
300 it is. 300 exactly. There we are.
Yeah, well, 297.7 to be
297.
We'll round up. We'll round up.
Yeah, we'll round it up. So.
Yeah, that was a good damage you sent.
So this is Cyclone Winston, 185 miles per hour and a pressure of 903. Nearly 300 kilometers per hour with higher gusts naturally, affecting the Fijian Islands right now. The southernmost large island of Viti Levu, the most populated island, will be spared the worst of the storm, but it will still probably get some bad conditions. Devon, what do you think you'd expect on the southern island there? With the capital Suva on the southeastern tip of that island. Or anyone else can answer.
Sorry, I'm trying to help Ram Turtle right now.
Well, I'd certainly be prepared at least for hurricane force conditions, personally.
There's an island that is not showing up on the floater, which is, I think it's called Kuru Island.
Yes, indeed.
And I think the eye or the eye wall, southern, I think it will pass just south of, north of that island, sorry. Yeah, so I think they're having very, very strong winds right now. It is very bad for them because they are seen to be south of the eye, which means they will, if they are low don't have any mountains or anything, I think they will have a very significant storm surge.
And David's bird chirping in as well.
Seems to be.
Gee, that was loud.
Very sorry about that, guys. I had to deal with a wasp that just flew into my room despite it being 32 degrees outside.
Oh my. Got lost.
Yeah, they're not very fast when it's cold.
Okay, I've managed to get onto the Fiji Met Office. They are having major issues. It's been picked up by the Australian Broadcasting Commission and their emergency network section, and it's expected to be 120 kilometres north of Suva at 12 a.m. tonight.
Just got latest pressure from Nadi as well. They're sort of leaning towards what Devon's line of thinking is, only down a little bit to 917 millibars.
Did that work?
According to Fiji.
Is this working now?
Oh, it is.
Yes.
All right, I helped him out with it.
Devon, I assume you agree with that one.
It depends on what.
Fiji have lowered the pressure, but only by 3 millibars to 917.
Have they increased the wind speed?
They're not. Oh, I can't remember what it said before.
All right. Do you have anything to chime in about Ram Turtle?
No, but earlier you guys were talking about how many storms there were this year. Well, I actually have been tallying them up. There have been 10 tropical storms this year. Well, storms that reached tropical storm status. Of those 10, 8 of them reached hurricane status, and 3 of them reached major hurricane status.
And I'm assuming that you're counting Eula in for the 2016 totals?
Yes, I am counting Eula.
Yeah.
And the storms were in just random order. Stan, Uriah, Tatiana, Eula, Victor, Winston, Corentin, Daya, Polly, and Alex.
Yep. I'm keeping track of the storms, but I'm not keeping track of the storms using the Saffir-Simpson scale, to say the least.
Maybe you can round, Nathan. You can round up to 300 kilometers per hour if you want to.
Pardon?
185 miles per hour is 300 kilometers.
Oh, I didn't write that.
Jason.
Jason's work.
I don't blame him.
Someone's put it down on there. 298. But yeah, well, we can be precise, I guess. But all we need to know is it's strong, Devon.
Yeah, there's errors in measurements anyways, so who cares?
Error, it exists.
We have to deal with it.
Yeah, I know how it exists because there's a thing on my lab reports I have to do is percent error.
There's the thing on my lab reports that have to do with 13-year-olds talking about their percent error on their lab reports.
Wait, what?
What?
Now,
Wait,
the storm
what?
eye is very close to that island. I think it was.
What?
Coral
That's
it was
Marcel. Or somebody.
It's a beautiful
Ooh.
eye as well.
That's an interesting image, Jason. Could you?
Yeah, it's
If
beautiful.
someone
wait, he's
could,
not even.
screenshot that. That'd be nice.
And you can switch to bound, and you can switch to visible, and then you get the very clear
Here we
view
go.
of the eye.
Is it
Oh
working?
my.
Yeah.
David, I did that for you as well.
Alright, Leo, something's just got caught my eye.
Yeah, not much else for me to say at this point. There's not much new
Nothing
on
from
the
me.
storm.
Is the screen share working?
No.
No.
Huh?
I don't even see the loading thing. So, obviously not.
Let me try again.
John's angry.
Is it working now?
It's loading. We got further
Okay.
last time. Oh, it's there. Yes, we have it. So here's an
Is-
image from what Jason originally sent from the
Zoom in a little bit.
8 satellite.
Yeah, wow, you can see the ocean there on visible.
I mean, what is this kind of imagery? It's not adding up to me. Not making sense.
Can
What
you-
kind of
can you-
image is this?
No, it is. I think
Okay.
Jason.
Nathan, the latest track's out for Fiji. It's going to remain
yeah.
Category 5 to the northwest of Nandi. So basically, it's going to remain Cat 5, and so it's going to remain longer.
Linger.
Well,
That is
We're
very
getting some
circular.
news from the chat that all Fiji Airways flights for Sunday and Monday are canceled.
Thank
Yep.
God.
I think this is from the Molly Takeda in the chat. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name incorrectly. Not very good with pronouncing names. And we've got dead quiet here at HQ.
Yes, it is
That's
rather,
fine.
and
Can you
Minus
show
you.
that? Can you show the link that Jason posted when he said close up on Fiji a while ago, and then he sent the link.
Link. Was there a link?
Yeah, you might want to go back and then.
And I'm gonna have to turn off my screen share because who wants to see the chat for the call?
no, you can leave it on. I just switch over to something else.
Yeah. What did Jason post that? I don't see it.
If you go back, he said
Oh,
close up
someone.
of Fiji, and then he has a link below it.
Oh, right. Sorry. I'm gonna restart that screen share. Here we go.
I'd just like to let everyone know that I'll be going away at the end of this hour, which means that we'll probably go into open mic mode here on the live
Oh,
stream.
God.
We will.
Yep.
We will keep running.
Periodic
uh,
updates.
But I won't be here, so
Yeah, you need your sleep.
it's up to these guys for a while.
yep, well, it's okay with me.
But if anyone does have any questions, do send them in.
I've said all that I've needed to say about this system. I've gotten my message across.
I like your profile
Times.
picture, Dave.
Get indoors,
Yes.
stay indoors.
Background stapler.
Unless you're a trained professional, don't try to make a documentary out of this crap.
Mm-hmm.
Just get to an interior room in your house. And I'm sorry for my Facebook going off because my family's been pestering me all day long. But anyways, get to an interior room on the lowest level of your house that you're confident will not be flooded. So basement probably isn't a good idea, especially with the very heavy rains that will be falling with this cyclone. Cover yourself with some type of heavy furniture or heavy bedding, whether it be a mattress, couch, blankets, whatever, to protect you from flying debris, as total window and roof failure is probably to be expected as this system passes, with sustained winds of 300 kilometers per hour and gusts well over 320 kilometers per hour.
Yeah. I think I do have this playing. I think it's just a little animation here from the JMA. It looks like from Himawari. This looks like 10-minute imagery.
Yeah, and you can play the loop there. You can press play.
I did.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, you can see a very
It's just
small
a little
island.
bit. It's just a little sluggish. That's all.
Yeah, you can see a small island there.
Always
That's
sluggish
right
on your
in
PC.
right coming in.
Okay, I've got some updated information. The emergency aid groups are now in full swing. They're on standby, and hundreds of evacuation centres, as previously stated, are now activated, and scores of people are now relocating to those centres. The Australian Red Cross is on a standby, and that's the latest.
Yeah. Well, that is the latest here. We're gonna take... Go ahead, John.
Another update. 1:17 p.m. Fiji time is
Oh,
according
yes.
to the comments. All roads in the country are currently open, according to the Fiji Roads Authority. The Northern Division is currently experiencing gale force winds. FRA contractors were in lockdown.
All right.
But we should also say that some, going by previous comments, that there are some roads that are completely underwater.
Yeah. Oh no! I accidentally closed my my link. I'll have to reopen it. Give me a minute. Oopsie.
Don't worry, John. We're not showing it.
Thank God. Trust me. You don't. Oh, what the hell just happened there? Okay. I admit I've had my times where I've had glitchiness in my side.
Oh, you don't say. Oh, and there's a
my.
dog as well.
Yeah,
Up.
that's a good dog.
Oh, that's at Ram Turtle's place, I believe.
Oops.
Yes.
Yeah,
Somebody.
background noise.
Indeed.
Well,
Yeah.
That's
sometimes.
the latest loop of the storm, by the way, showing the latest frame and how the storm has been progressing. But over to John.
Yes, I'm gonna go back to the satellite
Grab with the
feed
dog.
here. BOC. You know what, let me try something else. Ooh, let's see. Let's see water vapor. I think we haven't seen water vapor yet.
John, I'm gonna invite you to show all the loops after the hour, because we're gonna take a short break now as we finish this one.
Yep.
And Forster team will return in around 8 minutes' time, minus myself.
Minus yourself. Of
As
course.
Yes.
we enter the 9th hour of rolling coverage. We'll be back in just a few moments. See you soon.
See you soon, guys.